I'm here to be in Kismayo, Jubaland. I heard so much about this beautiful land, and it proves that all I have heard about is true. But today is also saddening to see how the floods have hit this region hard. It's also saddening to see the sufferings of the people displaced by the floods. At the same time, I'm very much heartened by the great efforts. I think that the federal government, represented by His Excellency the President and also the Prime Minister, and also by President Madobi here in Jubaland, that they have made together to help to support the people here. And that's why I think China and also my dear colleague from Turkey and also other international partners are very happy and honored, including our colleagues from the United Nations, to be part of this effort to help the people hit by the floods. China, we know that the floods are something very common to the Chinese people. And just this past summer, the Chinese were hit hard by the floods, even in the capital Beijing and in northern part of the country. That's why as soon as we learned the news about the floods here, the Chinese felt as the Somalis did. We feel that this disaster is devastating as it hits us. That's why that not only I as the ambassador here, my fellow Chinese back in China are as much concerned as all of us are here. That's why that we already pledged to provide $2 million of food aid to come to Somalia. They are on their way. And at the same time, we also know the urgency of the matter, as President Madobi said just now. That's why we already delivered cash support to the federal government and through the federal government to Jubaland. And I'm glad that we are part of today's effort to provide food rations, including food, sugar, edible oil, and others for more than 1,200 families. We are glad to be part of the Somali effort. And you can count on us on continued Chinese support and international support for your effort to rebuild your lives and rebuild Jubaland and the affected communities back into their peaceful, stable, and prosperous state. Thank you.
The invitation by the Jubaland state authorities, of course, Turkey, as it did in the past, we will be part of any relief operation support here and if needed some other place. You know, our Red Crescent, they have already signed an agreement with Sodma, and they bought for disaster-stricken people of this region food in Mogadishu to be transported here by Sodma. And here, through this visit, we will discuss with the authorities of Jubaland as well as with UN, discuss the ways and means if we can give more support. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
To Kismayo and to Luglo to see the scale, the massive scale of the need resulting from the floods. The floods that have been happening this year rainy season are unprecedented. We haven't seen anything like this in a very, very long time. And it's incumbent on all partners to Somalia to step up and to provide the support that the country needs. Almost 2 million people across the country are affected by the severe impacts of the floods. The United Nations system, through the pooled funding sources that we administer, have already made available $30 million for the most affected areas, states, regions, and districts across the country, benefiting some 700,000 people. But even this is insufficient compared to the need. And we do encourage all partners to continue to step up. Tremendous appreciation today for the participation of the government of China, for the distribution that you're supporting, and for the participation of the government of Turkey. But I do in particular want to appreciate the leadership of the federal government of Somalia, through the Prime Minister's office, through the Somalia National Disaster Management Agency, SODMA, through the state governments, including in Jubaland, and the state ministries of humanitarian affairs and disaster management, for stepping up and for showing leadership in meeting the needs of the citizens throughout this very complicated period. It's a very hard time for Somalia, having just come out of the worst drought in 40 years, and now seeing the worst floods in generations. And in addition to meeting the life-saving needs today, we need to continue to invest in solutions, developmental solutions that will reduce these cycles of crisis in the country, and try to break the cycle of these recurrent types of climactic phenomenon. So thank you again for the visit, and thank you for all the good work that's being done.